Welcome back again to another video. It's Opex. So I got a video for you today. I didn't plan on making a video, but it started raining, so I am kind of bored right now. And why not make a video, especially when I got tons of content on my mind. So today I want to talk about something that is more along the lines of what you do in your spare time, or rather what you do in your free time, what you do in your time when you're alone, what you do when you're bored. A lot of people like to stay in their comfort zone. Now, I don't want to talk about the comfort zone in this video or touch on it too much, because I have tons of content talking about the comfort zone, getting out of that comfort zone and experiencing the greater things in life, becoming a greater version of yourself. But in this video, I don't want to talk as much about the comfort zone as I do about entertainment in general. We have lived in this lifestyle, progressively getting to this lifestyle to where we are now, in terms of we wake up in the morning, we eat, we work, we have entertainment, then we go back to sleep, right? It's almost like that cycle of you wake up, you go to work, you have your coffee, blah, 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 and you have a cycle. But when you get home from work, a lot of people tend to go into a comfort zone, a zone of entertainment. They will turn on the boob tube. They will go on their phone. They will plug in their video game. They will have a screen, generally, ready. The game's on, whatever, right? Well, the point is, of what I'm trying to say, is to get out of that cycle. I'm not saying that your habits are necessarily bad, but if you get into a habit of entertainment every day, your body needs that. It's almost like if you have sugar every day, right? You're going to need that sugar, or else you're going to be diabetic or considered low blood sugar. What goes up must come down. So if you think about it, just because you're doing it every day doesn't mean it's good. But you should do everything in balance. If you get out of that habit of the second you get home from work to plug in a TV or background noise or a radio or some sort of entertainment, you are plugging yourself out of what is called individual thought. You can't continually think if you're going to be constantly paying attention to a screen or a background noise. Right? Now, could you work out listening to music and then still have that muscle memory? Sure, right? You can clearly be able to do that. But where I'm trying to distinguish is that people just want to lounge after work. They've already had their fucking long day. They've already done what they needed to do that day, and now it's time for entertainment. Now it's my time. Get out of that habit. You are not really being entertained during this period. You are literally siphoning reasonable time usage for detrimental time. I mean, look at it like this. You're always going to be able to get more money, let's say, right? But you can't get more time, right? What you use your time for is what you need. I believe everyone needs minimally 15 minutes of exercise, 15 minutes of meditation a day. Minimal. I work out on my minimal days. I'll work out a 30-minute session. Minimal. I will meditate for 30 minutes. Minimal. Now, I couldn't do this when I was trucking. Most of my meditation was when I was driving, and it's not proper meditation. See, meditation should be not in a state of stress. And when I was truck driving, right, and then driving and thinking all day, coming up with new video content, ways to help myself in the long term, establish what I want to be doing in the future, that all takes thought. And when you meditate properly, you have no external things to pay attention to. Like if I was a truck driver, I'm paying attention to the road, clearly. That's going to override my brain. When you have a TV on, or a radio, or your entertainment, that is going to have a brunt or a portion of your brain usage, right? Think of it like a computer, right? You have processes. You have tons of different processes going on in your brain. let's say you have 5 apps open, right? You have Google Chrome, you have a video game, you have this and that and third, right? You got YouTube. And you got all these things, these tabs open, all these processes of different applications going on at once. Now, using these applications in a RAM setting, like let's say how much RAM and data and percentage of your computer that you're using, let's say you're using 50% of your CPU. That's a lot. We don't use 50% of our brains even when we meditate, especially nowadays, I'd say. We don't use much of our brain these days. It's kind of on autopilot. And I'm going to encourage you guys to stop using the valuable time that you could be spending meditating, working out, doing something constructive, becoming your greatest version, by sitting back and playing a video game or watching the TV. Or, well, I like to have background noise when I'm doing laundry. Okay, that's all great. But what you're doing is you're using more energy in order to, let's back up. When you're eating food and that energy is being distributed, a lot of your energy usage comes directly from your brain. It's because we're kind of multitasking everything, right? You can't just meditate anymore, because our day's packed and we want a screen in front of us and we want to hear some cool music, or maybe there's some song that you just want to hear over and over again or whatever. You are putting yourself in a situation where you're using a lot of your energy, even if you don't truly feel drained by it, right? You're still using energy going towards things that are not supporting you, are not helping you in any sort of way. A lot of that comes from this being the entertainment era, right? I'm a UFC guy, right? I like mixed martial arts. I believe myself to be a very, very tough competitor when it comes to martial arts. My jiu-jitsu, my everything, my boxing, my striking, it is next level. Like, I practice this stuff and, the proper ways to do things. Now, in UFC, there are 2 types of people in terms of progression. There's that person that stays in the gym all day. Then there's the person that's in the gym all day, whether you have a training camp or not. Then there's the person that only works out during their training camps. Well, you're not going to have the opportunities that somebody who's always in shape is going to have. You may have a short notice fight that can really progress and project your career into the right direction. Or you can be like, well, I need a 5-week training camp just to get back into shape, let alone remember how to throw a punch correctly. Which all takes muscle memory, right? But if you're always in shape, then you're already above the other person. Now, how do you become always in shape? Well, it's responsibility, it's dedication, motivation, and these things. It's not chasing entertainment. It's not chasing rewards. It's chasing competition. It's chasing becoming your greatest version. You better than yesterday. Not this training camp, I did a little bit better than my last training camp, because you're probably way worse than if you were training every day. Because if you're eating pizza and ice cream and getting fat in your off season, when you're in season, you're not going to be able to, it's going to take you 3 weeks just to feel back in shape. Get your muscles punching correctly without throwing out your shoulder, right? And getting back into different types of technique. You can't do that. You have to do that for your training camp. But if you're already in shape, you don't have to do that. And you're already a greater person out of training camp than it took for you to get into training camp, right? So who's going to win? The person who's always in shape, always, never chasing entertainment, chasing a betterment. There's a difference. You cannot become a better person by watching the TV. You are only destroying the fabric of your brain, which is the instrument, the organ that we use for everything. For muscle gain, to thinking, to making better decisions in our life. You need some time to meditate. And if you're not meditating in that time, let's say you get out of work, you're beat. Meditate. Just sit into a room, think, don't think, whatever you need to do. You know what you need to do. The more you practice meditation, the more it's shown to you what you need. So look at it like this. We're living more of an artificial blue light, like constant blue light in our eyes. At night, after all that blue filter, what's going to happen? So I lived in this apartment for a few years, since 2017, so like 3 years. Obviously, I was living in the truck more often than living here. But the point is, living here, I have internet. So I would want to learn something on YouTube. I would want to, let's say I played a video game, because I create video games as well. And when I'm using entertainment or looking at a screen, I sleep much later. I'm not as tired as early. It's because we have an artificial thing going through our retina of blue light. And blue light signifies daylight, right? White and blue light signifies like equatorial sunlight. Like going over the horizon, it's like the heat of summer. That's what those lights represent. Now, of course, like red lights and stuff like that would represent a farther away sun, or going towards the harvest season, right? More northern or southern of the equator. So, the reason I'm bringing that up is that your body signifies that there's longer daylight now. The daylights are longer, so you need to stay up longer. That's what blue light is, and even the white light. But the point is I'm getting at is that you're going to stay up later. You're going to need more sleep as well. So that's that situation. Now, I have 2 houses that I mainly sleep at. I sleep here still once in a while because I have a patient who has epilepsy and etc. Brain damage. He has MS. He has tons of problems. And so he needs to be taken care of because he can have an episode at any time. And it's more onset. It's more, you can't really detect it until it's about to happen, right? So I got to kind of be around. Now, with that being said, I also have another place I live. I have what you guys would consider a trailer. I call it my mobile home. I also have a 40-foot trailer, and I spend the night there. That's where my chickens are and my garden and things of that nature. My new lifestyle, my plan to retire in 10 years lifestyle, off the grid lifestyle. Now I'm there, and I do have electricity, but I don't have internet. And I rarely even use the electricity unless I need like a heater or a fan or something like that. I also have a bug light, that zaps the mosquitoes and stuff at night, which is all good. But the point that I'm trying to get at is that until I go to bed, I'm not staring at a screen. I don't use the electricity there. I feel so much better. I go to bed so much earlier. I have all this time to think and come up with new logic and new things and use philosophy for the better. I think about different book ideas, movie ideas. I think of all these things, and it's very entertaining for me. Now, I believe that proper entertainment is based on you, rather than trying to find it in external sources. Like proper entertainment, more fulfilling entertainment, is when you come up with a new idea. You come up with a new thing, and then you act on that thing. Let's say, like my plan to retire in 10 years. I'm actually acting on this stuff. But if I was playing video games every day, not thinking about things, I would be just as sheep as everyone else that's converting to communism without knowing it. But if you were able to uniquely articulate individual thought, nothing can stop you. Right? The sky's not even a limit. There is no limits for you. But if you're constantly not thinking, and you're constantly in this robot brain of the cycle of, eat, work, entertainment, sleep type thing, and you're just going around every day like that, that entertainment slot didn't exist 100 years ago, right? You guys know this. For thousands of years, we never had that entertainment slot. Yeah, you would go to work. Yeah, you would eat. Yeah, you would sleep, but we added it in the entertainment slot. Now, what we used to do with the entertainment slot is to communicate with each other and rejoice and come up with new ideas. And maybe you created a new sport. You created American football. You aren't going to be able to do shit if you're going to be worried about entertainment. You can't wait to get home to get into your comfort zone. This is making you a weaker person. This is making you less and less capable of individual thought. Therefore, the guy on TV is programming your brain. You're not programming your brain. The guy on TV is. Or your fantasy of your video game is programming your thoughts. That's why I really believe your brain's default manager video that I made is super important. Because I gave you the blueprint to create your own thoughts and to file things in certain areas where you have control. And you can put fantasy in fantasy category, but if you're playing video games all day, you're watching TV and movies and fantasies running through your mind all day, that almost becomes the default. You watch all these zombie movies and virus movies, and therefore now, 2020, they convince you to wear a mask. Because they convinced people to wear a mask 20 years ago in that zombie movie. So they kind of condition you. You aren't going to be conditioned and programmed if you have individual thought. See, look at it like this. If all of your friends are smoking weed, and you're hanging out with them all day, and they're passing the pipe or the blunt around to each other, you're going to end up becoming that pothead. It's natural. It's something's going to give. It's okay to smoke weed, and you're going to give in, right? What everybody else around you is doing is what you're going to do unless you have individual thought. Look, I'm at a point now, and I've been at a point for many years, over a decade, 12 years or so, where if I can hang out with cokeheads all day long, they can do all their coke all day, all night, I wouldn't do it because I have individual thought. I have power in me. This is an alpha male quality. You're not going to be an alpha male sitting on the couch flicking the channels. You're a beta, your back's getting weaker, right? You're not becoming your greatest version. And because you're not becoming your greatest version, you're going to be less valuable to society, let alone your loved ones, your immediate family, whatever, your friends. You're not going to be as valuable. Now, if you'd rather spend a night watching TV than helping your brother move to his new house, you're not valuable. No one's going to count on you. They're going to realize you're just a beta male. What are you doing here by siphoning energy towards entertainment? What are you doing? Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing particularly wrong with entertainment when it comes to, in particular, entertainment itself in terms of you're tired. You just want to relax, right? You don't want to meditate during this period. You don't want to work out. You're beat. You just want to sit down and relax. Nothing's wrong with that. But once you flick on that TV, your individual thought is gone. There's a reason why you look like this when you're watching TV. There's a reason. Because what your brain naturally does, of course, we all know this, a body in motion tends to stay in motion. So if you're working out, you're getting these gains, and you're feeling good, what's happening? You're taking out all those toxins out of you, you're sweating it out, and you feel great. The reason being is because you're using your energy to produce a greater you. Whether that's physically, mentally, spiritually. But you're only deteriorating your abilities and your greatness and your alpha qualities if you're just going to sit in front of the TV all day. Guys, look at it like this. Do you think a woman wants a fat ass on a couch all day, barely able to breathe? Is that attractive to women? No. They instinctively know you're a no good piece of shit beta male. because you are not giving up a part of you to help you and your family. You are surrendering your qualities, your greatness, for minuscule entertainment. If you call this entertainment. And if you call that entertainment, what do you call this? The guy that's watching TV once in a while, but then going back to their phone. Looking up and going back there. Is that entertainment? Or are you reducing the ability for critical thought or thought patterns in general? Practice makes perfect. If you are going to think and reiterate and come up with new thoughts and elaborate on thoughts, this takes time. You're always going to have more money. You're always going to have more things. You can't get more time. And the only way you're able to get more time is to restrict other time. Now, I'm not telling you to restrict your sleep. I'm not telling you to restrict your work. I'm not telling you to restrict your food. I'm telling you to restrict entertainment. Life isn't about entertainment. We're in the entertainment era, right? So women nowadays, beta women, okay, well, before I dive into that, because I don't want it to seem like there's a lot of beta women only, there's beta men and beta women by the billions. I'd say 90 to 95% of all humans in the United States are betas. And the way I can tell you that, for certain, in my argument towards that, watch my video on alpha males. And I will explain to you how human alpha males have evolved and what makes you a human alpha male. So now that that's out of the way, because I don't want to show you, but think of it like this. If a woman is looking for entertainment, what are you doing? You should be that entertainment. Because if you're not the entertainment, if you're not able to put a smile on your face and crack a funny joke, that means there's something wrong in here. Innately, outside of environmental factors, naturally and genetically, we are all able to become alphas. Alpha males, alpha females. The ability is there. Watch my video on the alpha males and I will explain to you how you become an alpha male and what is different between humans. And I probably give you a few specific animals to be more detailed and so it can you guys can understand it. But let's look at it like this. You are constant entertainment. How reliable are you going to be if shit hits the fan? You've experienced entertainment. Entertainment doesn't help you in the real world. It only stops you from gaining in the real world. Look, it might be boring to just turn off your TV, sit in the darkness. It might be boring for you. But it's 100% needed for everybody. I would tell you 15 minutes exercising. Good exercising, not just like good exercising, like squats or a jog or something. 15 minutes a day, minimal. Then 15 minutes of meditation a day. And when I mean meditation, no background noise, no background TV, and you will experience in days, your third eye might open because you're restricting things. You're restricting negative frequency and you're contributing to sweat, which is a detoxin. I mean, you're detoxifying yourself. You're feeling good because your brain is natural. Your blood is flowing properly. It's not all clogged. You're probably able to shit better because you're not full of shit. If you're full of shit, you're going to feel like you're full of shit. You're going to feel that. You're going to feel weighed down. You're going to feel like clogged. But if you shat it all out because you're energetic, you're boosting your metabolism, you're boosting your immune system, this will become greater qualities to become a greater person for yourself. Have you ever felt like, oh, my back hurts? Your back hurts because you don't use your back. See, if you used your back and your glutes and your hamstrings and your lats, whatever, you're using all this area. But if your back hurts, there's one of two reasons, but probably both, why your back hurts. Inflammation. You ate ice cream. You ate too much of this or that. You drank too much sugar water. Gatorades or caffeine or Coke. You're doing things that are getting you inflamed. And then when you're going to work out or you're lifting something or you're even just getting up because you're a fat ass now because you live in the entertainment era. If you were to use your muscles properly, sweat out all the toxins, eat healthy, have additional meditation, you will have more control over your body. And it's all your responsibility what hurts and what does not. Now that you're full of inflammation, you're working out wrong, and every time you get up, your back hurts, it's because you condition your back to be weak. You've conditioned your joints to be in more pain due to your diet. And because you're not sweating out all the inflammation, you're not bursting the bubble of inflammation, you are succumb to it and it piles on. And then you can get rheumatoid arthritis. You can get all types of problems because you're not fixing the problem. And you don't realize what the problem is because you don't think for yourself. I think it's a big quality to have to think for yourself. Because you can't be an alpha male if the guy on TV told you who to vote for. Right? How can you be an alpha male if somebody else is telling you how to live your life or what to do? How can you live your life? You need individual thought. You need your own thought because you can't be better if you're just constantly following the crowd. All of the cattle are herding to the slaughterhouse right now in the world. Lockdown 2.0 is coming, guys. I mean, they're telling you it's coming. It hasn't even happened yet. The Gateses, the Trumps, everyone's telling you Lockdown 2.0 is coming. Do you want to be your greatest version during this, or do you want to walk into the slaughterhouse? Anyways, your comfort zone is putting you into a entertainment desire. And because of habits and habit, you feel like you need it, just like that sugar intake. You have sugar every day, and then you stop that sugar, and you're going to feel bad. You're going to feel, oh, I'm hurting. You're more hungry. These things happen when you have low blood sugar because you're so used to high spikes of glucose and blood sugar. So what happens is, if you take that out, if you take out entertainment for a couple days, take it all the way out, you're going to see a revolution in your life. Your abilities, your powers, your third eye might awaken due to following those simple guidelines: meditation and exercise. So instead of when you're all beat and tired, you're beat and tired because your body is already awaiting a relaxed entertainment. And that's cool that you can go into your comfort zone. That's something that we all have in us. But unless you get out of that comfort zone, are you going to find the girl of your dreams? Let's say you already have the girl of your dreams. Are you going to make her happier? Are you going to do more for her or him, whatever? Are you going to be better for your loved ones? Are you going to be able to run around and play baseball with your grandkids? Could you even swing a bat? Or are you going to be in a wheelchair? It's your decisions that are going to change you. Are you going to give up or are you going to continue? Right? So if you have a bad back, you might not be motivated. So start fixing your diet. Stop being inflamed. If you're eating, tons of sugar, you're drinking sodas, cut out the sodas one day, switch to water, and after a few days, take out the candy or whatever the fuck else, and slowly transition into taking out entertainment, bad foods, the things that don't serve you, discard out of your life. A Bruce Lee quote, right? Like, add what is useful, discard what isn't. It's very important to do so. I mean, there's tons of things in life that are going to help you or hurt you. Can't be both. If you're watching TV, that is hurting you. That's hurting your brain. You are not fabricating individual thought because you're paying attention to the TV. And if you're not paying attention to the TV completely, it doesn't matter because to some extent, it's distracting you. And it's getting you to be entertained. You're being conditioned to be entertained. You don't have to be entertained. It's okay. That feeling of boredom just means that you're not actively becoming what you want. Let me reiterate that. So if you are watching TV, you are playing your video game, it doesn't matter, your entertainment. If you're using your entertainment sitting down, you're hurting yourself. But if you got up, you took off that TV, and now your brain's thinking, your brain's trying to come up with things to do. Immediately, especially if you're in the entertainment era, and you're stuck in that lifestyle, which I guarantee you are. If you took that out for 3 days, you're going to see some changes in your thought processes. This happens naturally. Doesn't make your IQ go up any higher, right? There isn't any studies to suggest that. I haven't seen that with my own eyes, that your IQ raises from 3 days of meditation and taking out IQ. However, it's going to project you to become better. It's going to project you to have cleaner thoughts. It's going to project you to, like, when you go to bed at night, you're going to sleep. Let's say you don't have that phone on you. You know how people in their bed watch their phone, YouTube or whatever they're doing, video games. Imagine you're not even doing that, and you're just sitting and you're ready to go to bed, but you're not entirely tired. So your brain thinks a little bit. Why does your brain think? Because that's something that you have to do. Your brain has to think. Your brain uses about 50% of the resources that your body consumes in terms of energy, in terms of food. And if you're utilizing your brain 50%, don't you want to utilize it where you're becoming better rather than just siphoning that energy through vampiric means like the television? Or if you're around bad people, bad juju people, where they'll make you feel less. Your energy is siphoned out of you. This is where you can practice things. You can practice your, you can learn how to astral project, if that's what you want. You can learn new things. You can have new ideas and new fascinations and you can use that time instead of your entertainment, where it's a distraction from reality, conditioning you to fantasy and programming, to a realm of control. Now you have responsibility over your actions because you're not being programmed by the entertainment. You're not being programmed to be in that cycle anymore because you have broken the cycle. You have freed your mind. And once you free your mind, your brain cannot, let me change that. Once your mind stretches to new dimensions, it cannot go back to where it was. You have stretched through an experience of understanding something at a deeper level, a higher consciousness level, which awakens something deeper into you. That does not just die. Once you have that, that's kind of addicting. A good addiction. It's like, I am bettering myself. I'm bettering others. I'm bettering the ones around me. I'm not making as bad decisions. I'm making much better decisions. These decisions are helping me and my family in my long term, my short term, doesn't matter. But you're able to distinguish all of these things because of unique individual thoughts and replaying different versions of different things in your head. The reason why I'm telling you that you should be doing all those things is because you can distinguish what is right and what is wrong. You can distinguish when they're telling you to wear a mask. You can think for yourself, and you don't have to be programmed and subjected to wearing a mask because you're confused. The guy on TV didn't explain to you why you should wear a mask. I still haven't heard the argument. Watch my last video. Where the fuck's the argument, guys? I asked you guys. You guys are smarter than I thought. I'll just put it that way. You guys are a lot smarter than I thought. Which is saying something. I just kind of figure everyone's retarded, right? Because they don't think for themselves. But I'm still waiting for that argument, and I'm going to be waiting for that argument because there isn't an argument. There clearly isn't. I've been asking everyone for 6 months, where's the argument? And all you can give me is the professional on TV told me. and I'm going to trust the professional. Professional? They never studied virology. You think Fauci is studying virology to help us? Or is he studying virology in terms of buzzwords and witchcraft to, wear a mask? I'm making these, whatever. It doesn't matter. But the point is, they want to tell you that grandma's going to die. No, idiot. If you thought for yourself, look up on Google. Did they have coronaviruses in the 1960s? Yes. Is it the second most common cold in the United States of America? Yes. Two things you look up, and then you think for yourself. Well, if my grandma didn't die last year, when 80% of the population had a coronavirus, what are we doing? Like, you need individual thought. If you think because the guy on TV told you that grandma's going to die, and you just believe that, you're not using your own thought. You're being programmed, and you need to get out of that. If you're constantly just trusting others to take care of you, look, they don't have your best interest at heart. Those people in the government don't give a fuck about you. They fund Planned Parenthood. Why do they fund Planned Parenthood? This is just thinking. Why do they fund Planned Parenthood? They fund Planned Parenthood because if they can get less children now, that's less tax money and resources going to children. Right? This takes thought. And if they're distributing all of the stolen money that they have to children, there's less in their pockets. There's less in their lobbyist pockets. There's less money in everyone's pockets in terms of government and corporations that lobby with them. Also, not just that they're getting less money, just think of it like this. Okay, if there's less resources allocated and there's more taxes coming in, because if you're over the age of 18, let's even go down to 16, it's fine. A lot of people, when they turn 16, they get a job, or 15. In New York, it's 14. You can get a job at 14, but you can't work like 40 hours or anything. But the point is, at a certain age, you start producing income for society. And by the time you make up what you've taken from the stolen taxpayer money, it's going to be years down the line before you make that up, before the politicians care about you, right? Once you're starting to produce that money, then they start caring about you. That's why they fund Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood is a depopulation agenda. Clearly, that's a safer way to, we're not murdering people, but we're murdering people. We're not murdering adults. We're murdering infants, fetuses, which is more humane, let's say, of population control. Because, again, if they can take you out of the equation, there's more money in their pockets. That's one. Two, there is a population control agenda. I have 2 videos on population control, part 1, part 2, where I go into depth about way before coronavirus came out. Not way before, maybe a few months before the coronavirus. I made those 2 videos. And then, when the coronavirus came out and I came up with those 2 videos, coronavirus part 1 and part 2, it makes a lot more sense, right? I'm not somebody who gets brainwashed by someone on YouTube or the TV or anything like that. I use their ideas and quickly determine if I should keep it in the back of my mind, which would be my brain's default manager. I'll automatically put it into fiction, into fantasy. And because I put that into fantasy with the possibility of truth, I don't believe them, but in everything I'm seeing where that can apply. And it's very important to understand that you can apply reality or to put something into a fantasy category, which will replay and distinguish and change your whole universe. your whole understanding of reality. And again, once your brain is stretched to a new dimension, it cannot revert to its older form. You have stretched your consciousness. You have stretched your understanding. That's it. You know more now. Like if you learned 2 + 2 = 4 and you didn't know that yesterday, your brain got stretched. You can't unsequence that. When you see in a UFC fight someone getting knocked out, you can't unsee that. You've already seen that, and now tons of information gets processed in the brain. You can't unsee that, right? You can't understand something. You can't do that. So I don't want this video to take forever, but if you take entertainment out of the equation, you're going to have more abilities, more skills, more, in the long term, I would argue, higher IQ. Definitely, even in the short term, higher levels of consciousness. I mean, I'd say by day 3, you're going to experience higher levels of consciousness, maybe even to the point of, I mean, depending on your diet, your workout regimen. If you take entertainment out, let's say you go camping. I would encourage you guys, if you can't get out of your current situation, if your boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife or your kids, or there's constantly a TV on and you have no control to turn that off, let's say, or you don't have the power to do it, go somewhere. Go on a jog. Because even on your jog, yeah, you're concentrating on running, but you're thinking, right? You're not really distracted. Like you would be if there was a TV going, you had kids yelling in the same room as you. You're not going to have that idea of meditation. You're not going to have that full control of meditation that you should have in order to not just rebalance yourself, but to get yourself to a point of unique individual thought. To get to yourself to the point of motivation. You're not going to be motivated if you know you can just grab a TV remote and just plug on that boob tube. You're not going to have motivation, right? But you're going to have motivation if you know to yourself, I'm about to take this 30 minutes, and I'm just going to sit and think. And if you can't do that, go for a jog. If you can't do that, set up a camping trip where it's just you alone or you and one other person or something, where you can have more of that relax and reflect time. You need that. See, if you're constantly putting things on the back burner of your brain because you want on the front burner to be entertained, those things on the back burner are going to stay there because your entertainment is more sustainable for you or comfortable for you in that short term. Don't take short-term entertainment, short-term anything, if it's going to detrimentally destroy the long term for you. Being in your comfort zone is going to destroy your health. Being in the comfort zone will destroy your relationships, will reduce your ability to think, comprehend, understand, and your ability to communicate. See, patience is a virtue. You're not going to be patient if you're going screen to screen, because you're going screen to screen. Right? You're constantly looking at a screen to another screen, never stopping, never smelling the roses, never experiencing reality. Because when you're meditating, yes, you're in your own mind, but that mind is limitless. When you have your boob tube or your video game, you're under restraints. And now you're under a restraint of generally fantasy. That's worse. That's like the worst thing you can do. You're restricting everything reality in order to formulate and understand fantasy. And the more you have fantasy on the front burner, the more you're not putting it into the fantasy category in your default brain's file manager, you're putting it into reality, into real. That's what you're doing. And then when the guy on TV tells you to wear a mask, there's a pandemic, you're going to believe it. What pandemic? You don't see it with your eyes. You only see it on the screen. Why is that? Look, guys, look outside. Where is the coronavirus? Why are you wearing a mask? If you used your brain, which they don't want you doing, Like George Carlin once said, they want you smart enough to run the machines, do all the paperwork, but too dumb to passively accept the situation you're in. Too dumb to get out of your comfort zone. Too dumb to make that move on that girl you like. Too dumb. Too unsure of yourself. Right? Because your power is limitless. But if you're restricted to a comfort zone, you're never going to become great. Look, if I'm here doing push-ups, semi-dedicated to my push-ups, let's say I do 15 push-ups, normal push-ups, very restricted, elbows in, real push-ups, all the way down, all the way up, slow. Let's say I do 15 of them. Now I feel the burn, but then I stop at 15 because I made it to that number. I know I could have done more. I know I could have been better. But because I'm in my comfort zone, I can't ever get past that border. That's what you're doing with your mind. You are restricting your brain from ever achieving more. Your powers are limitless. You can manipulate any human. You can even manipulate the unconscious. This would be rocks, the physical. Things without a brain you can manipulate. You can build things. You can create new things, invent. You can come up with new ideas that no human brain has ever thought of before. But that can't happen if you say that can't happen. If you're stuck in a comfort zone, you can never get out of that limit. You're limiting yourself and you're restricting more and more the more you're in that cycle of putting entertainment in your daily cycle. I'm going to encourage you again. If you get out of that cycle, every door opens up. Limitless possibilities. Your powers are now limitless because you're not adding restrictions on your consciousness, on your IQ, on your physical strengths and weaknesses, whatever. You are not fixing problems because, again, you need to sleep. You need to eat. So that is for sure in your day-to-day life. Your work, you need money to pay the taxes to live nowadays, right? But what you don't need is that entertainment. So slip that out. You've done your due diligence. Find ways to strengthen your back. If you're having back problems, but you're watching TV, then you don't care. You're putting that limit of fixing it. If you believe just a pill is going to fix you all the time, you might be stuck in a comfort zone. You might be stuck in not being able to think for yourself. Because you think that, let me rephrase that because you're not thinking. You were told that this pill could contribute to helping you in this way or the other. The doctor. He went to medical school for 10 years for this shit, right? So he must know what he's talking about. But if you thought for yourself and saw for yourself, or was motivated to be responsible for yourself in that category, you would restrict. You would take out entertainment. You would see the detriment it has on your health, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Entertainment itself. Oh, it's harmless. It's harmless in small amounts. Just like that mask. You can wear that mask for a day and never experience permanent health effects. You can watch TV for a day and never experience permanent health effects. But when you're adding that into your daily regimen, where you have 4 hours, I know people that play video games for 10 hours a day. Fucked up. Watching TV, has their TV on nonstop from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to bed. Never going outside, getting fresh air. Never going for a jog. Never using that entertainment or that free time to be anything constructive for yourself. Because that's the time you're supposed to. For thousands of fucking years, that's what we were doing. We were using that time to be more constructive, to become stronger, become smarter, become more spiritually enlightened, to become closer to God. You can be closer to God being a fucking robot? Government tells you where you can walk, where you can't. Stay on that sidewalk. Don't get off the sidewalk. You're in Walmart. Wear your mask. Stay on these fucking stickers with arrows. But if you have unique individual thought, you're going to understand that's a whole communist agenda. You're going to experience what the Nazis experienced, right? I mean, Nazi Germany experienced. Because that's essentially what's going on. But you can't think that far if everything is a screen in front of you. Do yourself a favor. Go on that camping trip up in the mountains. Go into that place where there's a lot of greenery. Now, you probably can't do that if you're living in the desert, if you're living in certain areas. But I encourage you, go camping. Go into the mountains. Go on top of a mountain and look down. Isn't nature beautiful? Doesn't it give you something? Don't you get different frequencies when you're outside of that Wi-Fi? Don't you feel better? Don't you know that you can experience newer and better and greater things and the sky is not a limit? But why is your limit your couch? You're limiting yourself. This world is huge. You can spend your whole life. You'll never swim across that ocean. It's huge. The point is I'm getting at is experience more. Not experience the same bullshit entertainment. Oh, a new video game or movie came out. I want to experience that. No, you're restricted. Now, there's nothing essentially wrong with movie. There's nothing essentially wrong with TV. But if you're adding that and fixating yourself to an entertainment cycle, and that's part of your daily regimen, you are hurting yourself in many ways, and you're restricting your powers, you're restricting your abilities, you're restricting your frequencies. Like, put a smile on your face, because you can't do this if you're zombified in front of a TV. Or if you're I know these people, they're constant screens. And that irks me, because you have a relationship with other people, right? Now, I'm more of a hermit. I'm more of the person that rather be off grid in the middle of nowhere where no one can find me. That's me. The reason being is because I can experience more and better and bigger things. What's that one thing? If you are walking with everyone else, if you're with the crowd, you're not going to go any further than the crowd, right? If you're watching TV, you're not going further than that. Come on, you're putting limits on yourself. Huge limits. Like, you're putting yourself on a couch. But if you were on the couch meditating without screens, just think about it. That's limitless. You can go anywhere in here, but you can't go anywhere in here if you're watching Superman or one of these movies. Spider-Man. You're stuck in that. Some hero's going to save us. You're the hero. You should be responsible for yourself. You should be an alpha. You can't be an alpha eating ice cream on a couch watching TV. That's the most beta male shit ever. Go to a prison. Don't go to a prison. But understand my sequence here. Understand my scenario. You're in prison. The toughest guys aren't sitting there watching TV. The toughest guys are moving. They're finding little things that are just even 2 or 3 pounds, and they're trying to lift them. They're using their bed sheets as restriction bands, restraint bands, where they're, have to use more energy because they don't have weights. So they're going to use whatever they can and think outside of the box in order to get them gains, in order to become a better person, and to feel better, right? Who doesn't like feeling better? I just talked for 55 minutes straight. Watch one of these television watchers speak for 5 minutes. They need to catch their breath. You call that an alpha male? That ain't no alpha male. An alpha says, I'm not doing something of value right now. What can I do to bring value now? And I don't mean entertainment. I mean, what can I do to better myself? If I have a girlfriend or a child or a wife or whatever, what can I do for them that they would appreciate it? What can I do for them? Should I take them out to dinner? Should I make them a home-cooked meal of their favorite foods? Surprise them? These kind of things you cannot do if you're constantly being programmed. And yes, you're being programmed watching a movie. You're being programmed playing a video game. If there's a screen in front of you, you're being programmed. I mostly got what I wanted to say in this video, so we need to stop this, because you know me, I can talk forever. But why can I talk forever? Because I've thought of this stuff. When do I have time to think for myself? I work 20 hours a day. Not really anymore. I was working 18 hours a day until I finished my video game on 7:30. So a week ago, I finished my video game. So for a week, I've been working about 10 hours a day, which is beautiful for me. You know, I have a farm, I have livestock, I have a job, and I also want to work out and do other things for myself, still have meditation. So if you have a 8-hour day job and that's literally all you do, maybe you might do your, mow the lawn or something, do your dishes, all the normal shit. You have time to meditate. You have time to exercise. You can get a treadmill. You can get you don't even need weights. You can do calisthenics. And I mean, I can tell you right now, just doing push-ups will change your life. Change your life. If you take out entertainment and you replace that with push-ups, it will change your life. Now, to stay motivated, you need to realize the harm the entertainment's doing to you. Because if you don't see it with your own eyes and you just hear it from people like me, it's not going to do anything for you. And the reason it doesn't is because you don't have unique individual thought. What you have is programming, right? It's like, I need a doctor to tell me that. I need a health professional on TV to tell me. Well, if you need that, then you can't think for yourself and you don't understand it enough yourself. Because if you did, you'd understand that, like, let's say your heart's not doing good today. My heart wasn't doing good yesterday. I couldn't figure out why. I think it was because the day before I had some ice cream and I ate a bunch of peanuts, which are two things that I probably shouldn't do to keep up my bod, right? I have abs, I look skinny, I don't have much fat, but if I eat ice cream and peanuts, I get inflamed and I become fatter and I store more visceral fat in my stomach area, right? So I got to do not only more sit-ups, I can do all the sit-ups in the world, but if I'm going to be eating this way or eating shitty foods or food-like products and having tons of sugar, it doesn't matter how many sit-ups I do then. I am literally not burning anything because I'm just adding more visceral fat. I'm adding more to the negative. What did I tell you before? You're only doing something good for you or something bad for you. There's no in between. It's not like you can go to McDonald's, eat the biggest burger and fries and soda you can find. You eat all that, you consume all that, and then you work out. It doesn't work like that. Yeah, can you burn some of that fat off? Yes. But what you're doing to your arteries and stuff is still bad, right? Like, if I had a gunshot wound, if someone shoots me with a gun, the cause and effect is there, right? It doesn't matter if I go to the hospital. They can't just give me a new lung. I mean, maybe they can. Okay, let me rephrase that. They can't just make that bullet never happen. They can't do that. The cause and effect happened. You can do whatever you can to try to repair that, but you'll never be as good as new. I hope I'm hitting home because this is an hour-long video and I definitely don't want it to go 2 hours. I could make this a 2-hour video. Clearly, I have information for days on this shit. But I'm trying to convince you. I want to articulate arguments in order to establish my stance. So I hope you guys stop, or at least retract the amount of time that you're using in your entertainment. Now, entertainment isn't necessarily bad. I might go upstairs with my roommate and we might watch some funny videos. We might do that. Entertainment is fine. But when you're making a habit of it, then instead of you bettering yourself in betterment and becoming your greatest version, which you should strive for, you should be striving to be better than you were yesterday rather than the guy on TV, or, you know, let's say you watch David Goggins videos and you see him working out every day and you're like, oh, I gotta be as good as him now. Don't do that. Be better than yesterday. The only person that you're battling at all times is yourself. At all times. When you're going into a fight, I keep bringing up UFC fight, you are battling that other person. But who you're really battling, and a lot of people don't tell you this, is yourself. You have a lot of demons in you, or thoughts, or frequencies in you. And once you open the portal, or open the doorway to a negative frequency, it comes out. Same applies if, let's say you went to church and you felt God. You opened up a doorway to God and it just, oh, you feel the Holy Spirit. You feel fucking great. The same would apply to anything. Now, let's say you're watching your TV and you constantly have this feeling of, I need to get into my comfort zone. Now, if you replace that with working out, if you replace that with anything productive or helping you in any sort of way, maybe even a second job or a second hobby. Hobbies are fine. Entertainment is fine. But when you're making it a habitual thing, every day, this hour to this hour, I must watch this TV show, you're hurting yourself. You're hurting yourself because in that time frame, you could have made your wife a great dinner. You could have been more valued. And now, what is love? Do you truly love your wife? Because if you did, you wouldn't be watching TV. Because that means you truly love yourself. You love your selfishness. You love your comfort zone. If you're an alcoholic, you can't claim to love your spouse. You must claim to be an alcoholic. You can't love your wife because you're choosing something that's hurting your wife over her. You understand? You're either hurting yourself or others, or you're helping yourself or others. The entertainment thing is not helping you in any way. If you use that for a meditation purpose, great. If not, and if you're using it for entertainment, you're hurting yourself. Realize that. You could be doing so much more for others. Value. If you gave value to others, I've made plenty of videos on this. My video, What is Love? I will break down what love is. Love is providing value. If you're not providing value for others, you don't love that other person. It's straight up. You don't love that person. Reason being is because you're choosing something over that person. It's another reason why I hate when people say that they're busy. You're not busy. You've chosen a different thing over that thing. You've chosen to spend your time here rather than there. If your friend calls you up, hey, let's do this or that and the third, and you want to do that, but you're choosing not to, you're choosing not to. It doesn't matter what your job said. You're choosing your job over that person. And that's fine, but put it into perspective. Don't say you're busy. Don't say that you made other plans or anything like that, because the point is you're choosing that over that. That's 100% what you are doing, no matter what you've brainwashed yourself to believe otherwise. This is reality. That's what you're doing. God, I'm so sorry for making this video so long. If you guys stayed with me this long, thank you. Subscribe if you haven't. I'm sure a lot of people watch my videos that don't subscribe. Maybe a lot of you do. I haven't checked those stats in a while. But like my videos. The more likes I see, that means the more content like that I should be doing. In terms of quality, in terms of... Do you see my videos? You know how easy I can make this entertaining? I can have some cool intro and yeah! It's all fucking front. It's fake. Right? That person making that rap song, right, and made that beat and made that track, sounds great. But you've edited, manipulated that so much to make it sound a certain way. When you say things in your raps, or how you say it, you've got to be louder at some points because that's when the snare dropped, or whatever, right? You're editing things and constantly refurbishing something, right? The reason I'm saying that is because it's not easy. You can't just go on a track and get millions of dollars. Because you're going to need the right beat, you're going to need the frequency over it. And how do you get to that point? Do you think anyone who's ever been successful ever did it by staring at TV, a screen? No. Even Jeff Bezos was in a car driving to like California or Las Vegas or something in the desert, is what I remember. And he's writing down his business plan. Where's your business plan, guy? Oh, you're living paycheck to paycheck. You know why you're living paycheck to paycheck. It's because you want entertainment. You want to spend your money on shoes, things that don't serve you. That's why you're living paycheck to paycheck. You wouldn't be living paycheck to paycheck is if you took out your friends or your entertainment or that screen in front of you. You take that out. Now you're stuck in a mode where you can only help yourself. Help yourself. Do something. Get a business plan. It might not work out. Most likely it won't. Even if you come up with something great, it probably won't work out. But guess what? You're moving in the right direction. You're either bettering yourself or hurting yourself. And guess what? If someone turns down your business plan, the only thing that's going to happen from that is that you're going to revise your business plan, like that rap song, to become better and better and better until people understand where you're coming from. Until you have that, what you wanted. And you can't get that in which you want if you're constantly being entertained. You can't get that beautiful wife that you dreamed of because your wife ain't going to want a fucking beta male on a couch eating potato chips. Being entertained. Getting fatter. Becoming dumber. Right? Your woman probably wants an alpha male. Big dick energy. And you ain't going to have that big dick energy with that little flaccid dick on the couch. Exercise, and you'll kind of see your dick get a little thicker. I remember, I'm not going to shout him out, but some vegan bodybuilder years ago said that just by changing his diet and exercising, and this is a guy that is a young guy, to my knowledge doesn't take steroids, but probably does. But he said that his effectiveness of his penis, just from diet and exercise, has changed his life. He can operate much longer in the bedroom. He's much more girth. And yes, that happens if you... I seen 2 years ago in the truck, and me now. You would think you're fatter, you got a fatter dick. See, your blood flows through your veins. If you're clogging your veins, that blood flow is restricted. Especially at a younger age, this will be more effective in your maturing, your adolescence. It's much more effective if you had your blood streams operating properly, your oxygen intake's proper, right? And your environment's proper, and you're doing all the exercise. You're probably going to be getting way more chicks than that kid playing video games all day. What woman wants that fucking beta male? Come on, guys. And it's not just that. Come on, guys. It's you. When you're working out, the majority of the reason most people work out is to attract men. It's true. Now, you might not be attracting, before you guys get into it, dude, I work out every day and I do it for women. Before you do that, who gives you the compliments with how big your traps are? Who? Women? Women do not compliment on your traps or your triceps or your quads. Women don't compliment on that because they don't give a fuck about that. Real honesty. They don't give a fuck about that. They want to, it's your brain. Let me say something real quick. There's a lot of truth to this, so this is why I'm saying this. Women fall in love with what they hear, not with what they see. Men fall in love with what they see, not what they hear. That's the reason women wear makeup, and this is the reason men lie or try to boast about themselves, right? Like, I'm a lawyer, I'm this, that, because they fall in love with what they hear, not what they see. This is for men. You're trying to show up other men when you do that, right? Now, me personally, I would want to show off for me. I don't really care about showing off to other men. I'll do that in the ring, you know? I don't care about showing off and having big dick energy in the room. I don't give a fuck about that. What I give a fuck about is clarity of mind, nothing clogged in my body, feeling great, having conversations. I can hang out with a chick for 10 hours straight, never run out of something to talk about. Why is that? Because if you're on TV, watching the TV all day, what kind of conversations are you having with people? Not unique individual thoughts, not a variety of topics, just the variety of topics you heard that day. That's how low IQ the programming makes you. If you're watching Fox News, that's all you're going to be repeating to other people. Oh, the left-wing media's, and then the Fox was, this is why we love Trump. You're being brainwashed, right? And it's because of the television. Because if you made those same points the television people made to me, it doesn't work, right? Because you need to convince me. You need to have an argument. You need to have reason and evidence and use some sort of logic. Because if you don't, and you're just repeating things, you don't even understand what you're talking about, right? So get out of that entertainment thing. Stop believing what you hear from anybody, even me. Use your unique individual thought and your philosophy. Philosophy will change the world. It's inevitable. Philosophy is the means of changing the world. Because in the television programmed individuals, there's no excitement. There's no reward. There's no thought process. But in the meditation realm, you're contributing. See, you guys probably don't realize this, but there's a whole realm of stuff we can't see. Microwaves, frequencies, all different types of ultraviolets. There's all types of waves and different types of spectrums. And what you put into the world is what is going to surround you. If you're constantly in Wi-Fi, your brain is going to be in constant Wi-Fi and scrambled. But if you get out of that Wi-Fi and you have some unique individual thought, that's something no one can take away from you. That's time spent well. You have contributed to the betterment of you. Isn't that beautiful? Don't you want to be better? Don't you want to be skinnier? Don't you want to be stronger? Don't you want to feel good? Don't you want to have baby blue eyes? Or do you want those bags under your eyes? Do you want those bags under your eyes? Do you want a mask over you? Do you want to constantly be low levels of oxygen because 5G radiation and the frequency destroys particles, the oxygen particles and water molecules? Because that's what it does. It disturbs it and it makes it go like this. So what is it doing in you? Right? Get out of that. They're trying to program you. They're trying to murder you, actually. But they're programming you to be docile little fucking slaves. But you don't see it. Because you're constantly looking for more entertainment. And when something that contradicts your thought, you just do this instead of think. Because if what I said contradicted your thought, and I have an argument, you should listen to that argument. Even if you have an argument for the masks, I'm looking for it. You should look for it. You need to find what it is the other side's doing, or else you don't have all the information. Not only do you not have all the information, you don't understand the other side. I'm trying to understand the mask wearers, but it seems to me I might know too much. And the reason I know too much is because I understood too much. It's because I pushed my brain to different avenues that you would never be able to when you limit yourself. Guys, this video is way too long. You guys get the gist of what I'm saying, right? If you guys want me to detail anything specific in this video, comment below. If you want me to make a specific topic, let me know. I'll make any topic for you guys. I don't care if it's fucking Barbie dolls. If you give me a topic, I will definitely talk about it. I've told you guys before, let me know what topic you guys want. I used to do videos for you guys. But no one's leaving me topics anymore that's detailed, right? So definitely leave me a topic and I will talk about it. And yeah, probably do that next video. So stay tuned. It's Opex. I'm out. Yeah, get them gains. See you guys.